So this Halloween oracle card is Joy, which is rejoicing in the present. And I'll also be doing Lady De Los Muertos. I don't know how to pronounce that properly. I'm sorry if I'm completely butchering it. Which is about acceptance and equality. So what we see in this picture is a woman in a long flowing dress, very monotone. The whole picture is very monotone. It's almost like she's lit from the sun, like the leaves itself. She has her arms up and is sort of looking up and off to the distance. She doesn't look very joyful, she doesn't look very happy, but everything else around her, the leaves dancing and all the rest of it, her body posture seems sort of joyful. The large leaf behind her sort of almost looks like wings being lit up from the sun behind both of them. And there's just a lot of movement there, which with the leaves and everything, which makes me think of it being a very sort of energetic time. When you have your arms up like that, to me that sort of symbolizes kind of greeting the day, or being ready to receive something, or just sort of an honoring pose. Maple leaves just, well, I'm Canadian, so maple leaves make me think of Canada. Also maple syrup, but also leaves in general, especially fall leaves, is sort of a time of transformation, and kind of it inspires wanting to go out and enjoy the season, and see the beauty that this time of year may be about leaves dying and plants going into dormancy and all the rest of it, but it's still a beautiful time of year. And it's a great time to go outside and just be in the moment when everything's changing and witness it. When was the last time you took a step away from your busy schedule and actually just went outside and enjoyed the moment or the day or the season? When was the last time you welcomed growth and transformation into your life, connected with nature and yourself? To disconnect from everyday life, technology, and things like that in order to reconnect with yourself. So anyways, let's see what the book has to say. So it's Joy, which is rejoicing in the present, and the little poem is, I stand here, I am where I am, fully alive and present, stress is a sham. Besides the who or ooh of a not so scary trick-or-treating ghost on Halloween evening, one of the most common sounds you'll hear is laughter. There's so much joy at Halloween, and it can be one of the most fun nights of the year if we allow it into our lives. We lead busy lives, whether we are studying, run a household, have a demanding job, or all of them at once. It seems that there is little time for us to stop, be present, and enjoy exactly where we are at this time. It has been said that the first step of real change is stopping and acknowledging that we actually need change. While sometimes we might feel that there is little to feel happy about and much to change, we can always feel grateful for something right now, and there is a power in that position. It is time to find the joy in this moment and to find that joy more often. Should this card come up in your divination, it heralds arrival of more happiness and profound joy into your life. It is a good omen. Actively seek pleasure and build more of the things that give you personal joy and laughter in your life. After all, we build in appointments for the dentist, why not for our own pleasure? So I kind of like the idea of this card is we need to sometimes take the time to enjoy life. We're so busy trying to support our life with things that we have to do that we often forget the point of life is to enjoy it, to experience it. I like the advice it's giving to actively seek pleasure and build more of the things that give you personal joy and laughter in your life. You have to make a conscious effort to include those in your life when everything is so structured towards what we have to do to survive. It's an important reminder, I think. So let's go on to the next card. So the next card is Lady De Los Muertos. I totally am probably butchering that, but which is acceptance and equality. So what we see here is a very elegant lady with long dark hair and a bunch of red roses in her hair. I think there's like 4 or 5 roses. And she has on the Day of the Dead or the Sugar Skull makeup. And she looks like she's dressed in lace and a bustier and a fan, all very elegant and pretty. And in the background, there's even some faded lace design there as well. So the Day of the Dead makeup makes me think of Mexico. It's Mexican origins, honoring the dead, I believe it is. Maybe even ancestor worship. I guess it kind of falls into that. And roses are just sort of a very romantic symbolism. The red could possibly symbolize blood, but also like romance and love and elegance, I guess. The same with the fan. That kind of just makes me think especially a lace fan. Just sort of speaks of elegance and romance and that type of thing. And just the lace in general is sort of an elegant, ornate, feminine type of thing. She also kind of gives me a little bit of a flamenco dancer vibe. Maybe it's the fan, I don't know. She kind of makes me want to get all dressed up. It makes me think of the question, are you aware of your own appearance? Or how can you, she seems to be very confident, so how can you dress to inspire and show off your own inner confidence? How do you showcase your own inner qualities? And just in general with the makeup and everything, how do you acknowledge the dead in your own way? Let's see what the book has to say. So it's Lady De Los Muertos, Acceptance and Equality, and the little poem is: Pale you step out of the night, in red lace, full flowers upon your crown. You bring the beauty to death, the equality and joy of the underground. The iconic Lady of Death, with a pale, skull-like face, zombie eyes, and rich red funeral flowers in her hair, has become one of the most recognizable symbols of Halloween and the Mexican Day of the Dead. El Dia de los Muertos. I'm sorry if I am butchering this. The original model for this flamboyant Lady of Death can be traced back to the ancient Aztec goddess Micteca. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. As time went on, the figure remained balanced between beauty and horror, and morphed into the Lady of the Dead, and eventually into the more modern graphic figure of Catrina. It is also reported that the identity of the original Catrina was based on women who were very rich and had everything they wanted in this life. Yet death takes everyone equally, so it was a reminder that no matter how beautiful, rich, popular, or famous you were, in the end, death takes us all. The Mexican culture has a long-standing history of laughing at death, and seeing it as just another aspect of life. In some ways, death is the last taboo in many Western cultures. We tend to hide away our dying, and some of us may never see the body of someone who has passed in our whole lives. But this was a much more common occurrence in the past. Acknowledging that death is a natural process that will enter everyone's life at some time, and perhaps until then we can choose to be life-affirming, takes away much of the fear. Take a light approach to a situation initially and it may work out better. If you're holding on to something that does not serve you any longer, in particular material things, simplify and let go. So this is interesting. I definitely didn't know all this about the Aztec goddess, so that makes a lot of sense. And so does the whole Catrina thing, and how it links to the end here about letting things go, in particular material things, because they're of no use after we pass. And of course, I like the whole idea of just taking a lighter approach to death. It doesn't have to be a big scary thing, it's just another aspect of life. It's just another transformation of life. So yeah.